Manchester United fans, and actually many other fans, just don't like Erik ten Hag. It's even getting ridiculous at some point. They just like to hate on Erik ten Hag. I don't know why. Maybe because of what he did with Cristiano Ronaldo, which was not his fault by any stretch of the imagination. Pick out the Crystal Palace game as a very good example. Crystal Palace is a team that, from last season, even in the few games they played this season as well, we see that they are very aggressive. They like to press on the, they like to play on the front foot. They like to press high and all of that. But United did not let them press high. They did not, especially in the first half at Selhurst Park. United absolutely dictated play. I think that's the best I've ever seen from United in terms of, All right then, gather together, Manchester United fans. Let's have a frank talk. It's Manchester United. It's the biggest club in England, and it's probably one of the biggest clubs in the world. And so I understand that people would always want to talk about Manchester United, and that's even kind of why I'm making content about them as well. But United's season has started slowly on the results front, winning just 3 of the 7 games they've played in all competition. However, in this video, I'll be looking at the stats that shows us that United have actually been much better than they were last season. They've made giant strides compared to last season. We'll be looking at the stats and we'll also be discussing certain things that we've seen on the eye tests as well. And what we're going to be trying to establish in this video is the fact that Manchester United have been unlucky kind of this season, because the stats and what we see them play suggests, a much better result than what they have at the moment. So do well to stick around if you're in for that kind of thing. Do well to also like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on notifications button so that you get notified when there is new content on the Football Slides TV. So then, let's get into it. Last season was horrible. Like, nobody's going to sit here and say last season was even close to acceptable by any sort of standard for Manchester United. It was horrible. The eye test was bad. The stats was bad. Everything was horrible for Manchester United. It was horrendous, and there's no getting away from that. And this season, the results haven't been too different. In fact, if you actually look at it just on the results front, United won more in the first 8 games of last season than they have in the first 8 games of this season, including the Community Shield that United lost to Manchester City on penalties. So if you look at it on the results front, you say, come on, it's not just even more of the same, but it's even worse. But if you think it's not just more of the same, but it's also worse, I agree with you on the fact that it's not more of the same, but I don't agree with you on the fact that it's worse. I must say that it's much better. The eye test suggests it's better, and the statistics suggest it's better as well. And we're going to be looking at the reasons why I think so. So far this season, excluding the Community Shield, Manchester United have played 7 games, 5 in the Premier League, 1 in the Carabao Cup, and 1 in the Europa League. They've won 3 games, they've drawn 2, and they've also lost 2 games as well. But the performances have been quite interesting. We are seeing a very recognizable style of play in possession and out of possession. One of the major sticks used to beat Erik ten Hag last season was that United had no recognizable style of play. Now, I don't totally agree with that, because in Ten Hag's first season, I saw some very identifiable styles of play. And even last season, in bits and pieces, we could see what he was trying to do. But for me, it was obvious that it wasn't coming up. The players did not believe in it, and he didn't actually have the players to implement that style of play, which is evident in the fact that Ineos have gone out and bought the exact kind of players that Ten Hag needs to implement the style of play that he wants to. And so far this season, we are seeing the dividends. Cannot look at me and say there's no style of play. I don't think that is I don't think that's the right thing to say, because obviously there's a style of play. Is it working? That's another different topic of discussion entirely. But that there is no style of play, I don't believe that is the right thing to say. So very quickly, we're going to look at what Erik ten Hag's Manchester United tried to do in possession and out of possession. I did a video on this 2 weeks ago where I looked at it in depth, so I'm not going to really touch on it too much in this video. We're going to really major on the statistics for this video. In possession, of course, like I said in the past video, Manchester United like to play, they want to play out from the back, trying to build up in a 3-2-5 or in a 3-1-6 shape with emphasis on inverted fullbacks. And in the past 2 games, especially the games against Barnsley, Crystal Palace, and even to a very large extent against FC20, I saw that Diogo Dalot was the one trying to invert, and Nosa Mazraoui was the one, joining the back 2 to make it a 3. And even sometimes we saw Lisandro Martinez, especially in the latter parts of the game against FC20, we saw Lisandro Martinez dropping into the 1 and allowing Manu Ugarte and Christian Eriksen to move up and be part of the 3-1-6. It's been very flexible, and You can't look at me and tell me it's not working, because it's working. United have, statistically, it's working, and I'm going to give you the stats shortly. We see that United have controlled games. United's ball retention and ball possession has been really good, and one of the best I've seen in recent years. I think probably the best since I've seen since the time of Louis van Gaal. And I'm not exaggerating. It's not just hyperbole. I mean what I'm saying. I'm saying it with a straight face, because yes, that's what I believe. Look at the stats. Now, it's just 7 games into the season, but Manchester United have had more possession than every single team that they have played this season. And that includes Brighton and Liverpool. And Brighton and Liverpool are two very accomplished sides when it has to do with ball playing. They had more possession against Brighton. They also had more possession against Liverpool. And that tells you that they are doing something right. That tells you that they are getting much better in terms of ball retention, in terms of keeping the ball, in terms of circulating the ball, and also creating chances from it. Last season, Manchester United had an average possession of just 51%. This season, however, in the 7 games that have been played, like I said, excluding the Community Shield, the 7 games that have been played, Manchester United have had an average of 58% possession. I mean, the difference is vast. So it's clearly stated on the eye test, and with statistics we can prove that United are much more better when it has to do with keeping the ball. And like I said, they're creating chances from it as well. United have created 26 big chances in all competitions, averaging 3.7 big chances created per 90. That is very impressive. They are creating chances, yeah, but the conversion of these chances is what is proving to be a problem for Erik ten Hag's Manchester United. And the stats back this up as well. Manchester United have missed 17 big chances in the Premier League this season, which is the most in the league. In fact, the second closest to them is on 12. So United have missed a lot of big chances, and it has cost them in many of the games this season. Manchester United have also created a 9.59 XG in the league, and have only scored 5 goals, which is weird, because it's clear through that statistic that Manchester United are underperforming their XG by almost 5 goals. And now, usually goals scored usually rise or fall to the level of the XG. If you are underperforming your XG, at some point you're going to have to get to your mean, and if you're overperforming your XG at some point as well, you're going to have to get to your mean. So statistically, it's been proven that United should just start scoring more goals as the season progresses. But if you look at it on the eye test, I would say we can't say one exact reason why Manchester United's forwards have not been converting their chances. There are myriads of reasons. Could be confidence, could be the quality of the chances, could be anything. But I don't think that's a major problem. I feel that's the smaller issue. If they were not creating chances, that's a different thing. But they are creating chances, but they're not just putting them away. And I believe that's something that can be solved with time. They have good forwards. Marcus Rashford is coming back into form. I saw the game against 20 the other day, pulling out tricks from the bag and all of that. That's the Marcus Rashford that we know, and when he's in that form, if he gets a chance, he's going to convert them. Rasmus Højlund has also returned. We know that Rasmus Højlund is a good finisher when he gets the chance, and I believe Joshua Zexi is not also a bad finisher. With time, he would also convert some of the chances he's getting. So United would soon start to score, and I believe it's just a matter of time before we see the results change. Also on the eye test, Manchester United have buzzed many games. United have dictated play, they've created chances, they've kept the ball, but they've just not been able to convert chances, like I said earlier. And I'll pick out the Crystal Palace game as a very good example. Crystal Palace is a team that, from last season, even in the few games they played this season as well, we see that they're very aggressive. They like to press they like to play on the front foot, they like to press high, and all of that. But United did not let them press high. They did not, especially in the first half at Selhurst Park. United absolutely dictated play. I think that's the best I've ever seen from United in terms of, creating chances in possession. They created lots of chances. They should have been at least 3 goals up in that first half, but they just didn't take their chances. And in the Premier League, it's fine margins. You don't take your chances, you get punished. And they if not for Andre Onana with the double save, the brilliant double save he made to deny Crystal Palace, United might have lost that game, despite the fact that they dictated the play for the most of the match. So that tells you that United need to start to score their goals, but in possession, they've been very good this season. Now, let's look at what Manchester United are trying to do out of possession. Now, for me, this has been the most impressive thing about Manchester United this season. United this season, they look organized, they look harder to beat, they're not conceding chances, and actually the stats back it up as well. Now, let's take a look at this. First of all, goals conceded per 90 for Manchester United. In the 2023-2024 season, last season, Manchester United conceded 1.5 goals per 90, that is per game. This season so far, United have only conceded 0.6 goals per 90. I mean, that is a massive improvement from last season. United last season conceded a lot of goals, which is evident in this stats, 1.5 goals conceded per 90. But this season, it's just 0.6 goals per 90. And Andre Onana has the joint most clean sheets in the league this season. It's early doors, but that's what the stats say. Last season, Manchester United conceded 18 shots per game. That is a lot of shots. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of shots. 18 shots is a lot of shots. Ridiculous number of shots. I think only Sheffield United conceded more shots than Manchester United last season. But this season, United have only conceded 9 shots per 90, which is quite interesting. That is, they've already halved that tally. And that is a lot. And when it has to do with opponent touches in the defensive third per 90, opponent touches in the defensive third shows you how much territory opponents have against Manchester United. Are they, the possession they hold, are they holding it in their own defensive third, in the middle third, or in Manchester United's, defensive third, which is the opponent's attacking third? Last season, opponents had 173 touches in Manchester United's defensive third. But this season, it has reduced to 116 touches per 90. Now, that is a lot of improvement defensively, and that's probably one of the reasons why Manchester United are not conceding so many goals like they were last season. They are much more harder to beat. They are defensively solid. Even if you look at the goals that Manchester United have conceded in every game this season, most of those goals came from errors. If you look at the game against Liverpool, 2 of the goals came from Casemiro errors, and 1 came from a Kobe Mainoo error. The game against Brighton, it was a comedy of errors for both of the goals, and you see even the game against 20 a few days ago, it was an error by Harry Maguire jumping in when he didn't need to, and then Christian Eriksen losing the ball. It was another comedy of errors. Whenever Manchester United have a rest defense, and their rest defense, they have a 4-4-2 rest defense. But whenever they have that rest defense, it's difficult to get a goal. I don't think this season, I'm struggling to find a game where United have been broken down consistently the way they were last season. And even, the counters last season, we saw that United were very open in the midfield. We saw that the counter attack, it's also easy to just walk through Manchester United's midfield. That has not been the case this season. It's been more tight, they've been more compact, and they've restricted their opponents to very little chances. So by any standard, these are really, really good, defensive metrics. And Erik ten Hag and his staff should be given credit for turning this around, at least when it has to do with the statistics. And stats don't lie. Stats don't lie. These stats show that Manchester United have made giant strides so far this season. Now, like I said, the only drawback is the conversion of chances. And because United are not converting chances, that's why the results are the way they are. Another drawback I would say United have had is the form of the captain, Bruno Fernandes. If United gets Bruno Fernandes back to his best, we know what he can do, and they start to convert their chances, I think we would really see a lot of good things from Manchester United this season. They just need to start taking their chances. And like I said earlier, I believe that would happen naturally with work on the training pitch with the forwards. I mean, they have one of the best, strikers of the ball I've ever seen in Ruud van Nistelrooy as a coaching staff there. So I believe that shouldn't be a problem for them. And when all of these things come together, we will see a lot of good things from Manchester United this season. I am very sure of that. But, for some reason, Manchester United fans, and actually many other fans, just don't like Erik ten Hag. It's even getting ridiculous at some point. They just like to hate on Erik ten Hag. I don't know why. Maybe because of what he did with Cristiano Ronaldo, which was not his fault by any stretch of the imagination. And just a lot of things. People just like to pick on the manager. Now, it doesn't make sense anymore. I mean, if he's done well, say he's done well. If he's made mistakes, say he has made mistakes. But don't put things that are not his fault on him. And when he has done well, you should be quick to also give him credit the way you were quick to to criticize him when he made mistakes. Looking at the trophies he has won for United and looking at the problems he has had to contend with while winning those trophies, you can't but give him at least some credit, especially looking at the strides they've made this season to correct the shambles that United United were last season. And that does not mean he's a saint. That does not mean he's not at fault for anything. Of course, he has had some things that he should take the blame for, and he should take the blame when necessary. But it has not all been his fault. And the stats and the eye test suggest that United are about to turn things around. And with a little more, details here and there, United will turn this around and once again will become a force to be reckoned with. That's what I think, and not just what I think, that's what the stats think as well, because I didn't just give you my opinion, I also gave you the stats, and the stats shows that, my opinion is quite valid. I'd like to know your opinion on Manchester United and Erik ten Hag as well. Do you think that there's more than meets the eye? Do you think that they would get better in everything that they are doing this season? Thank you for watching the video once again. Thank you for watching the Football Slides TV. Do well to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notifications button so that you get notified when there is new content on the Football Slides TV. My name remains Goodness Eze. See you in the next video. Bye.